Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we are tackling a topic that is absolutely critical yet notoriously confusing, especially if you're new here: U.S. auto insurance. If you're a newcomer, it can honestly feel like you're trying to learn a completely different language, filled with weird jargon and hidden traps. So we're going to dig into the best resources and expert advice out there to build a roadmap together. By the end of this, you're going to have the exact knowledge you need to protect yourself, your family, and your wallet. Let's get right into it.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 1. The importance of car insurance in America. 2. Immigrant rights regarding insurance. 3. Understanding the different types of coverage. 4. Comparing top insurance companies. 5. Proven ways to reduce your costs. And finally, number 6, common mistakes you absolutely need to avoid.
All right, starting right off with Section 1, the importance of car insurance in America.
So, in the U.S., car insurance isn't just a polite suggestion, it is a strict, mandatory legal requirement in nearly all 50 states. If you drive without it, you're looking at massive fines, suspended licenses, or even having your vehicle impounded. But honestly, way beyond just following the law, this is about your financial survival. We've all heard how shockingly expensive American medical and repair bills can be, right? Literally, one accident without coverage could lead to crippling debt. Having a solid policy gives you that absolute peace of mind every single time you start the engine.
Moving right along to Section 2, immigrant rates and car insurance.
We have to address the elephant in the room. This is the single most common question we see, and frankly, it's the biggest source of anxiety for a lot of undocumented immigrants. It is totally understandable to be afraid of handing over your personal information to some massive corporation. You might be sitting there wondering, if I apply for insurance, are they going to call immigration enforcement on me?
The answer, emphatically, is no. Listen, insurance companies are private businesses. They are not law enforcement. There are actually very strict federal privacy laws, specifically one called the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, that legally prevent them from sharing your personal data with ICE or any other immigration agency. Purchasing insurance will not harm your immigration status. You are completely safe to get insured.
And here's some even better news. You actually don't even need a social security number to get a policy. You can easily just use an ITIN from the IRS or even a foreign passport. Plus, over 19 states right now, including places like New York, Michigan, and California under the AB 60 law, actually allow undocumented immigrants to get official driver's licenses. You have a fundamental right to be on the road safely and legally. Okay, Section 3, understanding types of insurance coverage. Let's translate some of this jargon. First up is liability insurance. Now, this is the bare minimum required by law, but, and this is a massive but, you need to know the catch. Liability only covers the other person's car and medical bills if you cause an accident. It will not pay a single cent to fix your own vehicle. When you shop for insurance, you're going to see a sequence of numbers that looks kind of like this. This specifically represents California's minimum liability limits, paying up to $30,000 for injuries per person, $60,000 total per accident, and a mere $15,000 for property damage. Just think about that for a second. If you happen to hit a modern car that costs $40,000, that little $15K limit won't even come close to covering the damage, and you could be personally sued for the rest of it. Always, always try to get higher limits if you can afford it. Now, if you actually want your own car fixed, you need comprehensive and collision coverage. People usually just call this full coverage. Collision pays for your car if you hit something. Comprehensive, on the other hand, covers things totally outside your control, like fire, extreme weather, or theft. And hey, given how incredibly common catalytic converter thefts are these days, comprehensive is a total lifesaver. Plus, it usually only adds like $10 to $20 a month to your bill. Here is a lesser-known but super vital one: gap insurance. Let's imagine you buy a brand new car for $40,000. A month later, awful luck, it gets totaled in a crash. The insurance company might turn around and say, well, the car is only worth $20,000 now, but you still owe the bank $40,000. Gap insurance swoops in as your financial savior and pays off that remaining $20,000 difference, so you aren't stuck paying for a car that literally doesn't exist anymore. And finally, for the jargon, the deductible. Think of this as your skin in the game. It's the amount you agree to pay out of your own pocket before the insurance company steps in. Say your repair bill is $3,000 and your deductible is $1,000. You pay your $1,000 and the insurance covers the remaining $2,000. Choosing a higher deductible definitely lowers your monthly bill, but just remember, you gotta have that cash sitting in a bank account ready to go in an emergency. All right, moving to Section 4, comparing the best insurance companies. Who do you actually buy from? Let's quickly break down the trade-offs between the big giants. USAA consistently ranks as the absolute best for service, but they're strictly restricted to military members and their families. GEICO, on the other hand, might offer you the cheapest upfront price, but honestly, their claims process can sometimes really test your patience. And then you have companies like State Farm, who often have incredibly helpful local agents you can actually sit down and talk to. That's a huge pro, but it might cost you a little bit more. It really is all about balancing the price tag with the level of service you expect when things go wrong.
Section 5. Everyone's favorite topic, ways to reduce insurance costs.
I know exactly what you're thinking. This all sounds so expensive. And yeah, it can be. But you actually have a tremendous amount of control over your rate. The absolute best thing you can do, no surprise, is maintain a clean driving record. 0 speeding tickets, 0 accidents. Next, like we just talked about, simply raising your deductible from, say, $250 to $1,000 can drastically slash your monthly payments. And please don't be afraid to ask for discounts. Are you a good student? Do you rent an apartment? If you buy your renters and auto insurance from the exact same company, it's called bundling. They will usually give you a really nice discount. When you are finally ready to buy, follow these steps. First rule, never ever accept the first quote you get. Use comparison sites to check at least 3 to 5 companies. And here is a fantastic pro tip. Look for local agents who speak your native language. In places like Dearborn or New York, there are agents who specialize entirely in helping immigrants. They know exactly how to navigate things like foreign licenses and ITNs to get you the best possible deal.
Finally, Section 6. Common mistakes to avoid. Before we wrap up, we absolutely must talk about the traps. People often make ridiculously expensive mistakes just trying to save a couple of bucks. As one of our expert sources perfectly summarized with this quote, the cheapest thing isn't the best thing. Let's look at why that is.
Think of it like this $10 sandwich analogy. You literally cannot sell a sandwich that costs $10 to make for $8 without cutting corners somewhere, right? The exact same logic applies to insurance. If a company is offering a rate that seems unbelievably cheap, they are cutting corners. They might be outsourcing their support to call centers halfway around the world, meaning when you are standing on the side of the highway in a panic after a crash, nobody is going to answer the phone. You want value and reliability, not just cheapness.
And please, whatever you do, do not skip the cheap add-ons. I see people decline rental car coverage or towing to save literally $3 or $4 a month. But what happens if your car spends 3 weeks at the mechanic after a crash? A rental car will cost you over $1,000 out of pocket. Same goes for glass coverage. A rogue pebble on the highway can easily shatter your windshield. For maybe $1 a month, your insurance will replace a $900 windshield for just a $100 fee. Those tiny monthly investments are incredibly, undeniably worth it.
I'll leave you with this critical thought from the Maryland Insurance Administration. The absolute best time to shop for insurance is before you actually need it. Because let me tell you, the worst time to find out what your policy actually covers is while you're standing in the rain on the side of the highway waiting for a tow truck. So I have to ask, are you truly protected for your next drive, or are you just hoping for the best? Take a serious look at your policy today. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.